شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتو یې پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا
Good evening. It's good to have you here. I'm Suleiman Talash. Today is Thursday, the 24th of October 2024. You are watching RTA News. Mullah Abdul Latif Mansour, Afghanistan's Minister of Energy and Water, said at the third conference of energy ministers in China called One Belt, One Road Initiative that according to the preliminary estimates and surveys, Afghanistan can produce approximately 318 gigawatts of electricity from renewable energy sources. Mullah Abdul Latif Mansour says that the Islamic Emirate has taken steps toward self-sufficiency in the field of electricity in the last 3 years and added that they have made up 5-year plan and renewable energy strategy for the implementation of electricity law. The Minister of Energy and Water also said that Afghanistan is committed to peace, stability, and economic development in the region by actively participating in regional projects like the One Belt, One Road initiative. Sheikh Nida Muhammad Nadeem, Minister of Higher Education, visited the Higher Education Institute of Logar during his visit to the province. The Ministry of Higher Education says that Mr. Nadeem, in a meeting with the leadership, professors, and students of this educational institution, emphasized on learning religious and contemporary sciences and asked the professors to pay full attention to religious, scientific, intellectual, and professional education of students. Sheikh Hamdullah Nomani, Minister of Housing and Urban Development, held a meeting with Muhammad Arsalah Kharote, Finance and Administrative Deputy, Urban Affairs Deputy, and a number of officials of this ministry on solving the problems of Rahman Mena settlement. In this meeting, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development assigned the task to the relevant directorates to carry out complete investigation regarding the restart of the mentioned project so that a decision can be made about it in the next meeting. It's worth mentioning that the Rahman Mena project was started in 1393, which was delayed due to legal, technical, and financial problems. Maulavi Nur Jalal Jalali, Public Health Minister, met with the representatives of the World Health Organization for Afghanistan. The Ministry of Public Health says that in this meeting, discussions were put on establishment of health centers for cancer treatment in 10 provinces of the country, including the capital, Kabul, and providing necessary equipment and medicine for the patients. They also talked about attracting international aid to strengthen Afghanistan's health system, and the representative of the World Health Organization assured continuous cooperation in this field. The Minister of Hajj and Religious Affairs, in a meeting with a delegation of religious scholars from Uzbekistan, called on other countries of the world, especially Islamic countries, to visit Afghanistan and present the true picture of Afghanistan to the international community. Meanwhile, the delegation considered their visit to Kabul important in strengthening the values and beliefs of the two countries. We have more in the report. A delegation of religious scholars from Uzbekistan continued their meetings with officials of the Islamic Emirate and met with the Minister of Hajj and Religious Affairs and discussed on various issues, including strengthening bilateral relations and cooperation. The Ministry of Hajj and Religious Affairs says that during the meeting, Sheikh Nur Muhammad Saqib called the visit of the Uzbek delegation important in expanding relations between Kabul and Tashkent.
It is a good opportunity for both countries and an all-round development for the development of both countries. If it is religious, if it is in other parts, it will be very effective.
At the meeting, the head of the Muslim administration of Uzbekistan and his delegation also evaluated their visit to Kabul as useful for strengthening common values and beliefs. Meanwhile, the delegation visited Balkh province after meeting with the Minister of Hajj and Religious Affairs, where they met with the religious scholars and local officials of the province.
When
Islamic stability comes between the countries, I think that commonality will be respected in its full meaning. This commonality will be strengthened in such a way that there will never be any fear of loss or distraction. Scholars of both countries play an effective role in society and can play a good and effective role in the development of both countries.
The mentioned delegation of Uzbek religious scholars led by the head of the country's Muslim administration arrived in Kabul yesterday at the invitation of Sheikh Nur Muhammad Saqib, Minister of Hajj and Religious Affairs. Sheikh Hamdullah Nomani, Minister of Housing and Urban Development, discussed a series of topics in a meeting with the head and some colleagues of RTA Charity Foundation in his office. The officials of the foundation said that they want to build a large standard hospital in New Kabul city and provide its services freely. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development has said that he will discuss the issue of medical equipment and construction for hospitals with the Prime Minister of the Islamic Emirate and the Administrative and Finance Deputy, and will emphasize the issue regarding hospitals. Sheikh Muhammad Khalid Hanafi, Minister of Propagation of Virtue, Prevention of Voice and Hearing the Complaints, visited Logar to continuation of his provincial trips. Mr. Hanafi has met with the local officials, scholars and tribal leaders of the province in order to better implement the propagation of virtue and prevention of voice law, along with the decrees, orders and instructions of Amir al-Mu'minin Hafazahullah. Sheikh Muhammad Khalid Hanafi said that no one has the right to violate the rights of women based on bad traditions, and added that the people should work with the officials of this ministry in implementing the Islamic Sharia and conveying it to others. The officials of the Central Silos of Kabul report about the start of purchasing the wheat from the farmers in north and south of the country. They say that according to the order of Amir al-Mu'minin Hafazahullah, they will purchase about 40,000 tons of wheat in the provinces and deliver it to the market at a fair cost when needed. On the other hand, the National Statistics and Information Institution says that 4.83 million metric tons of wheat were produced in 1403, which shows a 10% increase compared to last year. More details in report.
The officials of Kabul Central Silos say that, based on a decree of Amir al-Mu'minin Hafazahullah, they have started purchasing extra wheat of the farmers in the center and provinces of the country. Officials add that the purpose of purchasing the extra wheat is to support the farmers, and so far they have collected around 1,500 tons of wheat in the last 20 days.
The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is currently purchasing about 40,000 tons of wheat in the north and south to encourage farmers to sell their wheat. The part of Kabul Selu is 18,000 tons, which has been being collected for about 15 or 20 days. And so far, we have collected about 1,500 tons, which continues every day.
At the same time, the National Statistics and Information Agency says that in 1403, 2.12 hectares of land under cultivation produced 4.83 million metric tons of wheat, which shows a 10% increase compared to the last year, and most of it was planted on wetlands.
In current year 1403, the Department of Statistics and Information determined two cultivated areas of wheat in the country through the analysis of satellite images, data and remote sensing technology. According to our data, 4.83 million metric tons of wheat were produced in the country in the year 1403. According to these numbers, there has been a 10% increase in wheat production in the country compared to last year.
According to the estimation of Afghanistan's population, about 6.82 million metric tons of wheat is needed in the country, which shows a decrease of about 2 million metric tons considering the production of wheat in 1403.
And the final one is that officials of TVC United Company have expressed their interest to invest in the construction of a 30-megawatt solar power plant near the industrial parks in Kabul in a meeting with Dr. Abdul Bari Umar, the General Executive Director of Afghanistan Electricity Company. In this meeting, Dr. Abdul Bari Umar said that providing electricity to industrial parks is one of the priorities of the electricity company, and they are working on new plans to increase the level of household electricity production. And that's all for tonight. We will be back with more news updates. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوي پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا